what we have here, we call it Ban-Nuni.
Ban-Nuni.
It's like, nothing like, that's the goddess of our head. Bible, our tradition, we always pray, may my head lead me to where my success is. And there are special priestesses and priests who are the custodians of the Orisa of Oli. And this represents that Orisa. And wealth, you see, this represents wealth.
What are those? Those are...
The cowries.
Right.
All these cowries are specially made cowries, thrown out from the seashore or dug out in ground. All these seashells has no factory, because this is the money, the Asian money we spend, and it is only given out. You could say cowries and beads are found in large quantities in ground, and wherever they are found, either by a farmer or a trader, you have to go and report straight to the king or the reigning queen.
Right. That
I found so things in my farmland. That person must never touch a piece of it until the king sends his or her emissaries there. Then they will ask the oracle, how does this come? The oracle may say, well, the Olodumare and the ancestors have come to bless your community with this money. A special ritual has to be sacrificed before all these artifacts are packed to the palace. And it is through this Orisa everybody will know what is our own share is, how this law can be met. The same thing with beads. Before Olokun, the wife of Oduduwa, started to melt beads in the days of old. That's why we will never, you can never see we custodians agreeing with the date you academics put into our artifacts. Some will say 12th century. How old is the century? If you hear the history and the name of Ile-Ife, they say Ile-Ife Daye. The Ile-Ife that nobody ever has the record of when it was created, no record. So when you people, if you want to date this now, you will say probably 10th to 15th century. How many years is 15th century into African tradition? So all these things, the artifact, the only we see here, this is a very, 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 very old one. Very, very old. And I'm sure it must have served the purpose. Because if it is back home in Africa, now if you see where this is stored, before you can even go nearer the priestess in charge of it, you have to pay a lot of respect and sacrifices. It's not a thing anybody can just touch and see. Like, oh, see, a lot of ritual, it comes out once in a year when everybody will be begging for success. When the reading of the year comes out, the reading of the year through Ifa, which is coming up in every June, it's okay, the whole community should now go and worship Banyani. That's the head of, so that there will be prosperity and progress in the community. The whole community will contribute to come and worship.
Isn't this similar to Diwali? The welcoming of the wealth on a certain time. Also with this, when it says this is about the head deity, I can remember being in church singing songs, God be in my head and in my understanding. It's like in Shakespeare's Tempest, where he talks about the conscience being the deity beating within my bosom. So conscience, the head, all inspired by God. So there are cultural correspondences that if we have the will to see, we'll see them, even into the great bard himself. Yeah, there are different aspects of my heart, of my mind, of my soul, my strength, etc. And the Yoruba have got the Yoruba way of doing that.
Okay. Would this be part of a shrine?
This usually have our own shrine.
Right, okay.
You understand me? This has to be passed from one generation of priest and priestess to the other. This is what they worship in their compound, in their own heritage. That is their own ministry, spiritual ministry. To be appeasing to this Orisa, to be giving blessing. Because we always pray for our communities. We don't pray up to today. If you see us doing any ritual, we pray for the peace of the world. Because we live in communal lives, we live in large quantities of people. So we are not selfish in saying our prayers. You always pray through this, that prosperity, there should be money, wealth. Then after this, we pray for my head lead me to where my success, I say, will be reaching me here. My legs should always conduct me to where I'm going to meet my success. So the prayer for this, the ceremony for this is nationwide, I can call it. It's nationwide because everybody wants to be rich and prosperous in life. But there are some special priests and priestesses who are the custodians. Who knows what they want? The oracle will say, okay, Aje, Banyanyi wants so chicken this year, wants so snail, so firewood should be used. Everything we do is according to spiritual instructions. We don't just guess things to do. Even the firewood we use, the water we use. There are some times the water to wash this baby, okay. Virgin ladies or virgin boys should go and fetch this water in the morning without talking to anybody. Even if you see them in the street, good morning, they won't answer you. Because the water to touch this should be fetched by an untouchable somebody. You see? So when the priests and priestesses are going in the street in the morning, today you will see Muslim or Christian shouting in the morning, Oluwo Akoda. We started it. Back home in Africa, priests and priestesses, Babalawo, you hear the Babalawo make it at the last cock of the crow. Akuko daji, latemama ji pefa. Babalawo will be shouting Isifa, Iyoshun will be shouting Onoshun, Ogun. We all call our orishas in the morning before we even say good morning to our parents.
Is there any reason that it's the particular shape that it is? Is there any symbolism behind it?
Yes, it is particular shape. How does human head look like? You see? It just show the replica how our head should look like. Today, if you go to Africa, you see women, all these hairdos, women's styles. They name it in so many ways, but this represents our head. That's how it is shaped like head. This is a very small one. You understand me? If you see where this banner is as big as this, covered with cowrie beads and ritualistic waters. You understand me? Because there may be time when the oracle may say, okay, the whole compound where it is should be filled with coconut water. Everybody will be struggling to go and get coconut to come and pour it on banana. Or maybe everybody should bring one banana each. All those that is businesses are not prospecting, Bayani want something. Or Aje, there's a shrine in Ilefe we call Aje, that is the spot where Aje, the spirit of wealth, first landed. And it is in the market there up to today. So we guide our lives through the worshipping and respect to all these divinities.
Okay, thank you.
And they're all meaningful.